Hi everyone, good afternoon. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I am so excited to talk with you about the Sister Wives. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you'd love to, we would love to have you subscribe. So please subscribe to the channel and press that bell button so you get notifications for when I go live. Also, a lot of you have been asking, Katie, how do I join your channel? The join button is missing. Well, lucky for you, I have now found a link which was offered to me through YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, for finally giving me my link. And the link is available in the description below. So if you have yet to become a member and you want to become one, just click on that hyperlink and you can become a member. There are different packages and just ways to help support the channel, which helps me deliver content without having to worry about some of the YouTube rules. All right. If you are a member, welcome. I see you guys. I see you, Carissa, Des on being golden, Laura, welcome, Jessie Bear. To all of my moderators, hello, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and to Renee. All right, today we're going to talk about Sister Wives. So interestingly, there's been this thing on, this prevalent idea that I am a teen mom channel, but I'm actually not. And when I was looking at my most viewed videos, specifically in the months of November and December, it had nothing to do with teen mom. In fact, the majority of my top videos are related to fundies. Yes. The top videos consistently are related to the Duggars, to Sister Wives, Kate and John, right? And Kate and John +8, Kate and John and the 8 kids, and the other fundamental, I feel like I'm missing a family, the other fundies that we follow. Now, and the Plaths from Welcome to Plathville. So my top videos for the month of November were actually a Kate Gosselin video, a video about Janelle Brown and her tiny house, a video about Derek Dillard, and 2 videos about the Plaths, Mariah, and one about Olivia. Knowing that you guys are loving the content related to the fundies, I'm going to be doing my best in 2020 to bring more of this content for you. And I've recently wet my feet with the Bates. I started on YouTube watching some of the very early episodes of the Bates. So we'll be adding the Bates family into the rotation. Okay. So let's talk about the Sister Wives. Sister Wives will be entering their 14th season on TLC. This season is packed with a lot of things. The family is moving to Flagstaff, Arizona. The family made a decision to move from Las Vegas to Arizona. I don't know why. They could never really explain it. There were financial crunches. There were some issues with Cody not feeling comfortable. In fact, on the tell-all from last season, Cody said that once he became a fundamentalist in the Mormon community, he has never felt like he's found his place. He's never felt comfortable, and he's been moving around a transient lifestyle for the bulk of the years that he has been involved in polygamy. The wives during the tell-all tallied up at least 19 moves in the past couple decades. Wow. Now, they did spend about 5 years in Vegas, and now they are settling into Flagstaff, Arizona. On the TLC actually did a 15-minute clip called First Look Kicked Out. And on this 15-minute clip, which aired on December 17th, one of the issues that comes up is that Meri moves into a neighborhood where the neighbors are not excited at all about what? Her family and what? The polygamy. Yep, you got that right. When they were actually moving Meri into her home in the first rental that she has, you should note now that the rental that she goes into was actually sold. It was on the market when she rented it. And she now has a different home that she's renting in another part of Flagstaff that's equally as ginormous as her humongous log cabin that she had for her first rental. But on the day that they move in, the police are called. So Meri and Cody, they're close. So at the very end of this trailer, the 15-minute trailer, the police come into their driveway, and she says to them, "Somebody called the cops." Cody then urges his wives that they just need to make friends, and that once they make friends, everyone in Flagstaff will just love that they have a polygamous life, right? But Meri laments that a police officer said, "Nobody in Flagstaff wants to live by you." Wow. One of the kids actually said, "Our neighbor is outside watching us." And then Meri explains that they were upset because a wife in a plural family was in their neighborhood. Janelle obviously gets a pit in her stomach, and she says, "What does this mean? What have we moved into? What do you think we're freaking gonna do?" says Christine. So obviously they don't want the polygamous family in their neighborhood. Now, it could be a combination of the polygamy family and the traffic that comes with filming, a TLC reality show. It also could come with the notoriety of living by a family that is on TV. Maybe some of the neighbors don't want that, but the polygamy seems to be one of the bigger issues. Now, when they're making their decision to move to Arizona from Las Vegas, there was some questions about whether or not the Flagstaff community and the Arizona community would be accepting of them, given the fact that polygamy is still banned in all 50 states of the United States. So according to lawyers.com, could they get in trouble for practicing polygamy in the state of Arizona? Absolutely. So Radar Online actually spoke to a legal expert named Monica Lindstrom last spring, and she noted that polygamy is unlawful in Arizona. Arizona defines marriage as the state of joining together as a husband and wife through an agreement, promise, or ceremony, regardless of whether a marriage license has been issued by the proper authorities. Or appropriate authorities. So even though he has spiritual marriages here, they could still be considered marriage as defined by Arizona, which therefore would mean that he has 4 marriages on the books, even though it's not technically legal. And it says that polygamous or plural marriage and polygamous cohabitation are forever prohibited according to Article 20, Section 2 of Arizona law. So that means that under Arizona's constitution, living with one wife and a spiritual wife, or 2 or 3, could meet the definition of polygamous cohabitation, and that's prohibited. So accordingly, another partner of a law firm named Dwayne Cates said that bigamy it doesn't really matter whether or not they live in one house or separate homes, because bigamy is when one person is married to 2 people at the same time. And criminal law specialists say that he could get a half of a year to 2.5 years. He also could get probation or up to 3 years and $150,000 in fines. Although we should note that it's rarely prosecuted in these cases. Now, when we ask about whether or not the wives could actually face prosecution, they can. It's a crime to marry the spouse of another person. If a second wife knew the husband was married to the first wife, then she has violated the law. And although they themselves are not technically married to more than one person, they have agreed to allow it and have agreed to facilitate it. So not only is Cody potentially in trouble here, but so are the wives. So what are the actual reasons why lawmakers are so, why don't they like polygamy? Well, there's a number of different issues. And most notably, if you follow any sort of the fundamental polygamy cults, you'll know that one in particular, the FLDS, which is the fundamentalist sect that was currently run by Warren Jeffs, who is currently serving life in prison in the state of Utah for his, what he did to girls under the age of 14. Not good. So why are these authorities so cued into polygamy as a crime? Well, because it has some practices that can kind of be problematic. So the majority of polygamists are members of Mormon fundamentalist sects, which the Browns are. And lawyers.com says that the opposition by the federal government started in 1862 when it forbade polygamy, and it challenged by the faithful as a violation of the Constitution's guarantee of freedom of religion. So they fought it, but it was ended up put into the Constitution that it was illegal, and it was at that point the Mormons stopped practicing it in the LDS, and it just became more of a fundamentalist practice. So there was a split in the church at this time. And during that time when the law was made, the practice was considered odious and offensive to society. The Constitution's framers accepted that the English law banning polygamy, therefore they couldn't have intended for freedom of religion clause or sanctioned it. And it cannot enact laws that ban beliefs. They can pass laws that forbid actions. So that's how they sort of came to it. So why is it that we don't like polygamy? Well, some of the issues that come up with are child abuse and statutory rape, because many polygamous wives are underage and forced into marriages. They become victims of then crimes by their husbands. The conditions in which some of the child wives live also constitute abuse. There's also welfare fraud, which is so rampant in these communities, specifically in the larger sects like the FLDS. The polygamous marriages typically result in many children, but the wives do not generally work outside of the home. So to feed the family, they apply for welfare, falsely claiming to be in monogamous relationships. Falsely claiming to be in monogamous relationships. So they go in and they falsely claim that it's just like a husband and wife, or the wives that are not legally married will claim themselves as single, and then they qualify for more benefits because why? Because they don't have a two-family income, even though they do. There's other issues with relationships that are of a specific nature in between family members. There's corrupt business practices that are rampant in these communities as well. So it's a pretty serious problem, and if you are familiar at all with some of the big cases, you'll know that a massive raid on the FLDS actually resulted in a lot of these more enforcement of people when everything went down with Warren Jeffs. So there is definitely not a climate of happiness around this. Utah recently made it harder for people to practice this. They passed laws. So most states are starting to crack down, but some families are still managing to live under the radar. And even though it's illegal, it's very rarely prosecuted unless there is actual evidence of crimes like the welfare fraud or the abuse allegations, that kind of stuff. So we don't have, thus far, there hasn't been really a lot of, the Browns there's a lot of grifting that go along with them. Rumors that they move so much because they have balloon payments and they're running from their finances. They have their different multi-level marketing scams that they seem to get involved with. They have a reputation of being grifters in terms of, coming up with just about any way to get you to give them money. So that is one aspect, but there hasn't been any arrests with this family in terms of like welfare or anything else that's come out yet. So therefore, at this point in time, the Browns are relatively, safe in that respect. I don't know. Either way, walking into a neighborhood with this sort of stuff would not be easy for anyone. And again, sort of highlights the state of the United States in relation to polygamy. Polygamy is not overall a healthy environment for children or for women, and overall does not provide a safe environment for people because of the way that the structure of these churches are set up with the men in charge and everyone else beneath them. It creates an imbalance, and women do not have the same rights as men. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out on the episode. I guess I can understand from a perspective of why the Browns bounce around so much with their high profile, which begs the question, if you know that polygamy is not legal, why would you want to then elevate yourself to be high profile and under a microscope, other than having a massive ego and potentially being a narcissist? that many people have suggested Cody might be. So, and I should note, he did not grow up like this. This is something that he decided that he wanted to do by himself. His family was not raised this way. So he has lost connections with his family because of his choice to practice this way of life. So the neighbors don't like him. According to Meri, the Flagstaff people don't want them. And according to the law doesn't want them. So I would love to know what your thoughts are about this, and if you are surprised by this, and if you're eager to see how this all plays out. If you have questions, concerns, or anything, please let me know in the comments below. Are you surprised? Do you care? Does it matter? These types of things absolutely fascinate me, just because of the way the structures of these families work, and the just rampant, terrible way that women are treated at the expense of the men, who appear egotistical and, as to me, in my opinion, to be control freaks. So I'll be interested to see how this plays out, specifically because Meri seems to be like peacing out and on her way out the family. And I'm also going to be interested to see whether or not the law will eventually catch up with this family at some point in time. If you have questions, concerns, or want me to cover other topics, if there are other fundamental families that you are interested in me in looking into, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have not followed me on Twitter, it's at WOACB Crystal Ball, WOACB official for my page for this channel. And then if you want to interact with me, I am at KatieJoyYT, at KatieJoyYT on Twitter, 2 accounts. And then on Facebook at facebook.com/withoutacrystalball, and on Instagram, which, you guys, I am almost at 10,000 people on Instagram. So please help me get my page to 10,000 on Instagram by going to my Instagram account and giving me a follow, and it's at Without a Crystal Ball. All right, you guys, I'll be back later with more. Bye.